Welcome, everyone. I'm so proud of myself. I did it right this time. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, that I tried to set up a live stream before the date, and then I could not figure out how to get it to actually go live. That just happened so quickly and easily and effortlessly. I'm using my phone. I was trying it on my laptop years ago when I did it, so that might have made a difference too, but woohoo, we're here. I think some of those live streams from years ago are still like in queue on my YouTube studio, like waiting to go live. I just couldn't figure it out. So we're making progress. We're making advances here. Welcome. Welcome, Miranda. Welcome, beautiful Annika. So happy to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about the nodes of fate. We're going to be talking about the North Node moving into Pisces, that South Node moving into Virgo, and all of the exciting stuff that we have going on with that, as well as talking a little bit about, sorry, I'm just trying to, it's like this thing does not want to like do what I want it to do. There we go. That'll work. Nope, never mind. It either tilts too far down or too far forward. So my apologies, everyone, as we get going here. We're also going to talk about Aries and Pisces and the powerful energies that we're going to be experiencing. They're both going to be equally important. We are, of course, Aquarius energy is going to be a big focal point as well, with Pluto having moved firmly into Aquarius and the first Pluto retrograde fully in the sign of Aquarius occurring this year in 2025. But Aries and Pisces are really going to be the big energies that we're working with here. We have so much happening, particularly in the sign of Aries, but also in the sign of Pisces as well, as we're closing out some energies. And we have that North Node, like we said, moving into Pisces on 1/11, right? 1/11. So very mystical and magical that it's happening on 1/11. And then the nodes are going to remain with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo until July 26, 2026, which is the Galactic New Year, of course. So 82626 is when we're going to have that North Node shift into Aquarius with the South Node in Leo. And that's going to be really powerful. Just another wave of these Age of Aquarius energies. There's a lot of themes here as we're closing out the Age of Pisces and moving into the Age of Aquarius. And 2025 is very much about that energy of closing out Pisces and initiating and entering into that Aries energy. What's really interesting is that 2025 breaks down to a 9. So it's a 9 energy that we're dealing with this year. And 9 is the energy of endings and beginnings. So we see that with Pisces being the 12th sign in the zodiac, a sign of completion of endings. And Aries being that first sign, that initiating sign, right? The vernal equinox, the energy that gets us going. So beginnings, right? The alpha and the omega, the endings and the beginnings. This 9 energy is going to permeate so much. And of course, that 9/9 portal is going to be big this year, being a 999 portal. So get ready for that one. It's all going to be big. There's so many dates. Let me know you all if you want me to do a live stream just going over the big dates of 2025, and we can do that as well. But I did want to do this one on the nodes. I've had so much going on just personally right now. My child's going through another sleep regression. There's just all kinds of stuff going on. So I haven't had the time to make as many astrology videos. I'm doing my best to get out all of the sneak peek for the different zodiac signs. So I'm blazing through those right now. I just did Aries. That's going to be available in a couple days just because Aries has so much going on this year. Of all the signs, Aries is getting hit the hardest. So there's a lot of talk about the fixed signs with Pluto entering into Aquarius. But I'm telling you, Aries, sending you so much love. All right. I know we got an Aries on here right now. And you know it, you can feel it. It's a lot. So we'll do a live stream. Maybe next week we'll do the important dates of 2025 live stream. And this one, we're going to talk about some of those dates. We're going to talk about some of the big ones that are coming up right now, because a lot of them relate to this North Node in Pisces energy and relate to this Neptune completing Pisces, right? So we have Neptune completing a cycle in Pisces. Neptune is going to station in the sign of Aries on the 30th of March, and then go retrograde. And I'll give you the exact dates for all of this when we do the next live stream. But later in the year, we are going to have Neptune going retrograde and retrograding back into Pisces for that final time. Likewise, we have Saturn, which is going to enter Aries on the 24th of May, but will also go retrograde during 2025 and move back into Pisces for, I believe it is the final time. So it's like that closing out, that completion energy as we then continue to launch forward from 2025 and beyond. And it's really interesting how we have all these planets that are finishing up Pisces and moving into Aries. But then we have the nodes who are doing the opposite because they move backwards, right? So we had the North Node in Aries, and now the North Node is moving into Pisces. So as everything else is completing Pisces, the North Node is beginning a journey in Pisces. But I really feel this as the North Node assisting us with staying connected to our spiritual selves, to our higher selves. This is a connection that we've been building. We've been building it in earnest since 2011, 2012, when we had Neptune enter the sign of Pisces. And then, of course, we had that first major bifurcation in 2012, right? 12/21, 2012. 12/12 to 12/21, 2012. All right. And but that energy, that relationship has been continuing to build. And with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn entered Pisces in March of 2023. We've been working in a much more nuts and bolts fashion with the sign of Pisces. We've been closing out the age of Pisces, all right? So there's been a lot of those lower vibrations of Pisces energies that we've been moving out of. This is the victimization. This is the powerlessness. This is addiction. This is escapism. All of these types of energies, that aimless kind of energy. The energy that we're moving into, that the North Node is helping us to call in with Pisces now, that's really going to root us, ground us, and anchor us during 2025 and into 2026, has to do with really connecting us, like we said, with our higher selves, assisting us with perfecting that art of surrender, with becoming that point of attraction, with seeing the beauty within every soul as a reflection of the beauty within us, and really honoring each other and where we are each at in our soul's journey, honoring this as a journey of souls, so to speak, as a journey of evolution, and beginning to see things from that higher vantage point. So that's the higher vibration of Pisces energy that the North Node is helping to really call into a crystallization within each one of us. Like I was shown the North Node as this beacon, like this North Star kind of an energy, guiding us through 2025. Remember, when we're talking about the nodes here and these transits, just like with every transit, this is a collective energy. This is how the collective is growing and evolving. And this Pisces energy is the energy that is going to guide the collective toward its own dharma. Remember, we have contracts as a collective. We have contracts as a planet, as a soul group. We also have contracts individually. So we're really looking at these individual soul contracts. All right. And we're looking at how they impact the collective. Sorry, I meant to say the collective soul contracts. That's a big energy with this North Node energy in Pisces. And we're really beginning to honor the role that each of us plays within that dance. It's like Pisces is an interesting energy because it helps us to detach from reality in the sense of like recognizing that reality is not perhaps what, like it's an agreed upon construct, but it's constantly fluid. It's always changing, right? Pisces questions that energy because it sees beyond that. But at the same time, it's like we're recognizing our ability to shift the narrative and to create the reality that we wish to experience, both individually and collectively. And as we do it individually, the more and more of us that do it individually, the more powerfully that gets done collectively as well. And yeah, Matthew, I get that, Amy Winehouse, all the time. Just so you know, all the time. Yeah. And Miranda, I will do that. And hello, Karen. Hello, Miranda. Hello, Dee. Hello, Matthew. Hello, everybody who's on the stream. I want to just stop for a second before we keep going here and say hello to everyone. Oh, no, there's no reason to apologize. I get it all the time. I love Amy Winehouse. I think it's a great compliment. Yeah, I think it's a great compliment. Lady Gaga and Amy Winehouse, those are the two that I get all the time. And I'm going to make sure before we keep going, you guys, that I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I always forget to do that. All right, there we go. 1:11 on the clock, Madam Chakra says. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dee, this is going to be a year for you, my friend. We've talked about that, though. We've talked about it. All right, so where else do we want to go with this? I want everyone to have a specific date really clearly in your minds right now. This is the date that we have coming up very soon. Obviously, 1:11 is when we feel the node shift. But on February 7th, we're going to have a conjunction as the North Node moves into Pisces. Remember, the nodes move backwards. So it enters not at 0 degrees of Pisces, but at 29 degrees of Pisces, and then moves backwards. So when we have the North Node get to 27, I believe it is it 27 degrees? 28 degrees. 28 degrees of Pisces, it's going to come into conjunction with Neptune, who, as we said, is in those final degrees of Pisces, getting ready to move into Aries. So there's going to be this meeting. And the North Node and Neptune have been pretty close together for quite a while now. We've been talking about this for a few months here. This energy where we've had the North Node in those beginning degrees of Aries. And remember, because it moves backwards, the beginning degrees of Aries are the final degrees of the North Node's transit through that sign. And we've had Neptune in those final degrees of Pisces. Still in that squaring action with the galactic center at 26, 27 degrees Sagittarius. Bringing through those light codes, bringing through those downloads. Okay, so we've had that action going on. So the North Node and Neptune have been close together. They've been sharing information. The North Node has been through this powerful initiation with these Aries energies and is sharing that journey, sharing those spiritual insights you can all imagine with Neptune. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So Neptune has been really strong since 2011 in its home sign. This has been a real powerful spiritual, Neptune being within the sign of Pisces has been a powerful spiritual catalyst collectively. And that energy, as Neptune gets ready to shift into Aries, that's going to be its own catalyst. Really calling light workers. It's like if we can imagine, and I'm talking about this in terms of light workers because and hello, by the way, I haven't seen you in a while. Nooper Schnecht in the house. I've never actually tried to pronounce, but it's great to see you again, as always. Another OG on the channel there. So I just wanted to take a moment to honor you and say hello. It's great to see you here again. Always love seeing you pop in. You pop back in from time to time. So there's been this energy here. Neptune in Pisces calling us individually and collectively back to ourselves. Really, like we said, working us, putting us through our paces. This has been part of the closing out of the age of Pisces as well. The final closeout, in my opinion, will be when Pluto transits Pisces for the last time within this age of Pisces. So that's going to begin in 2044. But in the meantime here, this is a big closeout energy, Neptune. Completing a cycle that began in the 1800s. It was the 1861 when Neptune last was in the sign of Aries. All right, so that's one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about these planets having these Pisces transits. By the time a planet transits Pisces, it's gone through all other 11 signs in the zodiac. Pisces is that completion. It's that 12th house. It's that 12th sign. So there's a much larger cycle that planet has been undergoing, that we're experiencing closing out as well. That's why it's been such a big time of karmic closeouts, with both Neptune completing Pisces and completing its own almost 200-year cycle. And then Saturn, which moved into Aries for the last time in 1998. So a cycle that began in 1998 now completing for Saturn as well. It's big stuff, these completion energies. Obviously, we were incarnated in possibly a different body back in the 1860s, right? Other than that, we have no idea what was going on then, right? You could do a meditation, maybe try to figure it out. But with Saturn in 1998, most of us probably trace back to that time. You know, we may not have had as much going on, depending. You know, this for a lot of us is a chance to look at healing our inner child. Anyone who's around my age, you know, in 1998, I was in middle school. You know what I mean? Some people were a bit older than that. Some people on this channel might have been in their 20s, right? Their late teens, their early 20s, maybe even their 30s. There's not a lot of younger people that watch my channel from what I've seen of my analytics, and maybe slightly younger. So there might have been some that would be in grade school. Other than that, most of us have some sort of frame of reference of what we were going through in around 1998. So we can see a bigger cycle of growth and maturity for us because Saturn is always cycles of growth and maturity. So that's the bigger cycle. And then, of course, the smaller cycle began in March. So there's a big wrap up, a big completion energy. We've been working through, like we said, those Piscean themes: powerlessness, escapism, addiction, victimhood, really discarding those energies. One thing that happened during the age of Pisces was this was when organized religion was sort of introduced as like, here, this is the way that you connect with God. God is one being, right? Getting rid of monotheistic or coming into monotheistic type religions. The way that you relate to God is through a church, going to a church, through relating to a person. That was part of the age of Pisces energies that we're moving out of, where we begin to realize we are our own church. Nature for some of us is a church, right? Our heart is a church. And God is in here. God is everywhere. Right? So that's the shift that we're coming into as we complete this age of Pisces energy. We're sinking deeper into spirituality, our own experience with these cosmic forces, as opposed to somebody else's experience that they wrote down in a book and they taught to us, that they want us to believe, right? So there's a lot of big shifts happening with all of that as well. And like we said, this energy with this North Node is now coming in, is calling us back to ourselves. And there's a powerful spiritual activation happening here, really calling us deeper into ourselves. Remember, this is occurring squaring the galactic center still. The galactic center, a point where timelines converge, where time and space shift, where the Akashic records are very accessible, where all of the information and the codes of the universe are available to us. A point that really opens us up exponentially. So this is a big opening. This is a big opportunity to unify more with another aspect of our higher selves as we release more and more of the ego. And that's a big part of what this North Node in Pisces energy is all about. Perfecting the art of surrender and releasing the ego. So as we're doing this, as we're undergoing this process and we're releasing more of the ego construct, more and more of our soul's light is able to come in and inhabit our physical vessel. So we're calling in more of our soul's light. And we're allowing that our soul's light to guide us more and more powerfully as we move forward. So we had the North Node first activated within Aries, getting that courage, getting that confidence, getting that boost of energy, right? Jazzed up. And now, as we have Neptune getting ready to shift into Aries, there's this sort of passing of the torch, this passing of energy. And we're with Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries out of Pisces. There's a shifting of energy that's been able to occur because we've already been working with that Aries energy. We've also been working with our masculine energy in a lot of other ways as well, right? Through Mars. Mars in retrograde right now in Leo and then now in Cancer. All right, so a big overhaul of the masculine energy that's been going on for years, like 2020, 2021, when we had that Mars retrograde in Aries. That was a big, big energy that really began this overhaul of our masculine energy. And I actually want to look, because I want to say, let me see. All right, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But yeah, that was a massive energy when we had that retrograde, where that was a big beginning of the overhaul of our masculine energies, the way we relate to these energies, the way that we work with these energies. So we're still going through that, but now Saturn and Neptune in Aries, they have this opportunity to follow that higher self's will moving forward. So it's 2025 is very much a year of taking action, of learning how to work with that masculine energy to wield that, so to speak, in the world, but to do that from the guidance of our higher self, with our higher self running the show instead of our ego. And we talked about this a little bit too when we had the video where we talked about the Pluto-Mars cycle, right? Pluto representing the higher self's will, Mars representing the ego will. So we've had this breakdown occurring. And now with the North Node in Pisces, it's just about surrendering into it. Releasing those stories, releasing that attachment to who we thought we were so that we can become who we're meant to be. Which who we're meant to be is really just another way of saying who we really are, right? So yeah, February 7th is going to be a big, big date as we're moving forward when we have that powerful conjunction of Neptune and the North Node. And then, of course, we are going to have on the 30th of March, Neptune moving into Aries. And I want to look, we've also got a Mercury retrograde in Aries going on in March. I mean, there's so much. We have a Venus retrograde that starts out in Aries, and that's occurring in March too, you guys. Like Aries, I'm telling you. Our masculine energy and this Aries energy is getting an overhaul this year. But it's going to be really, really beautiful and really, really powerful. As we're able to synchronize, this is where we're really breaking out of that box that we were placed in, right? That we were trained to place ourselves in with this, what people call like this unbalanced or this toxic masculine energy, right? Like really breaking out of that and calling back in the divine masculine within ourselves and within creation. And my right ear just popped when I said that. That's really powerful. We talk a lot about the divine feminine, the rise of the divine feminine, but we don't talk enough about the rise of the divine masculine. The divine being the key word. We have to have both, right? It's a balanced energy. We're not meant to be moving into an unbalanced energy. If we're just having the rise of the divine feminine and there's no divine masculine counterpoint to that energy, it's not balanced, right? In order to ascend, we have to reach the point of cohesiveness, of balance, of unity. Just like that's how we reach that within ourselves, right? That's the internal twin flame journey of the balanced masculine and feminine. I want to look back at the comments for a minute here. Yeah, Lady Gaga is a shady. They're all shady celebrities, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Or 99% of them. I mean, we know what happens with these celebrities, right? The big ones, particularly. They're initiated into the low levels of the cabal. There's a lot of dark contracts that they sign. They essentially sign away their souls. And a lot of them don't even fully realize what they're agreeing to and what they're signing on for until it's too late. Till they're owned hook, line, and sinker by the cabal. And we saw the cabal parading a whole bunch of them during election time in the United States, right? For instance, we saw them parading them around, having them speak their piece, try to stir the people in a certain direction, right? We see like the tentacles go deep, but that's one of these things that's being exposed as we continue to move forward in this energy as well. And that is, we can talk about Pluto and Aquarius for a little bit, because Pluto and Aquarius is squaring the Shapley attractor, which is at 2 degrees of Scorpio over the next few years. And the Shapley attractor is the most powerful point in the known universes. This is the point, some people call this galactic astrologers the God source point. This is also the point where all falsity falls away. True motivations and intentions are revealed. It is the point of ultimate power. But it's also a point that reveals when power is being abused. And so we're going to continue to see these celebrities coming out, more of these, like we had with the whole P. Diddy scandal and all of that. We're going to continue to see these things being revealed. The darker, really, they've barely pulled back the covers of what was going on with all of that. And really, he's just one little cog in a much bigger machine, right? And that whole machine is being exposed. All of the sex trafficking, all of the child trafficking, the human trafficking, all of the dark, dark things that they do. It's all coming to light, So yeah, I think that there is within many celebrities, though, unless they've been completely taken over by these reptilians and these archonic energies and entities and stuff like that, there's still a soul light within there. And I pray for them, just as I pray for all of humanity. I send that love, I send those healing intentions, that soul light becomes strong enough to fight back, right? That there is still hope for every single one of us. Because there is. We can choose positive polarization at any time. The journey becomes a bit more difficult depending on how negative, how far down that wormhole we've gone. right? And what we need to do to bring ourselves back up, essentially. But it can be done. And there are celebrities, I think, who have done this as well. You know, and they're the ones that the media paints as crazy, the ones on the fringes now of Hollywood, of society, right? But we know who they are and we see them, right? We see them too. Reiki by Emma, hello. Love you some Saturnian energies. You got to love Saturn. You got to embrace Saturn, because if you don't, like, it's not going to hurt Saturn any, but it's going to make things a lot more challenging for us. It's like embrace. So Saturn helps us to not even overcome, to master the third dimensional reality. That's really what Saturn's all about, is mastery. We didn't come here because this was going to be easy. We came here because we knew it was going to be worth it. And that's the energy of Saturn. It ain't easy, but it's worth it. And when we put in the work with Saturn, we get the greatest rewards. All right. And this is a time of mastery. Any of my Virgos out there, if you didn't check out the Virgo 2025 reading that I did, that was all about developing the mental mastery. That was a big reading for my Virgos. And Virgo, you guys have the South Node. So when the North Node is in Pisces, the South Node is in Virgo. And that doesn't just mean, a lot of people look at that as like, that means that we're letting go of the energies of Virgo. We're not employing Virgo energy. Not true at all. It's a balance, just like everything else, just like the masculine, feminine we were talking about. Pisces and Virgo balance each other out. What we're releasing with Virgo is that energy of perfectionism, that energy that tells us that we're not good enough, that we're not working hard enough, that compares us to other people. The energy that anywhere that there's self-criticism within us, it's like we're embracing that Virgo, that Virgo journey of evolution, of purification, but we're allowing that unconditionally loving energy of Pisces to be our guide. We're allowing our soul to be our guide as opposed to our mind. I was also feeling with the South Node in Virgo, there was going to be a big emphasis on really understanding the mind, body, spirit connection. And for many of us, beginning to understand our illness from a more spiritual point of view, anywhere where our bodies are hurting, where our bodies are struggling to keep up with the shifting vibrational energies. There's also, as we're getting ready, as a world, and I'm referencing things particularly in the United States because that's where I live and that's where I know the most about what's going on here. But as we're getting ready as a world, I think, to start getting rid of the chemtrails, to start getting rid of all the poisons in our food and our water, and really like coming together against all of that. There's going to be, in this last hurrah, as you have it, of the cabal, the deep state, these dark entities, whatever you want to call them, they're going to be dumping their poisons on us. They're going to be doing everything they can. They're going to be amping up every single one of their tactics. These tactics no longer work. We're onto them. We know them. We do not consent to them. All right. We can view them and understand that what's happening and say, I don't consent to that. I don't consent to World War III, right? I don't consent to your poisons. I don't consent to being ill. I don't consent to being silenced. All right? We can continue to say this and hold that energy and frequency, but at the same time, we want to be taking care of our bodies and taking care of our vibration as well. This is what Spirit's showing me now, is Spirit's really teaching us how, yes, there is a very physical piece to wellness when it comes to what we're putting into our bodies, what we're being exposed to. But there's a bigger piece, and that is the spiritual, energetic piece. When you get your vibration right, and yes, it's a lot easier to do that when you are physically well, right? But working with that mental piece, working with all the pieces, and how as we raise our vibration, we naturally raise our health. Our health becomes better. We become more vibrant. So it's like really working with that, understanding all the pieces of this, and understanding with that Pisces North Node energy, the importance of that energetic piece. And really with Pisces and Virgo, how that connects to our emotions. Virgo is related to the physical body a lot, but both Virgo and Pisces are related to mental health as well. So really working with that energy, understanding our mental health and the key role that plays, and our physical health and how that affects our mental health, and how that all affects our vibration and vice versa, how all these pieces come together, and figuring out where we need to balance these pieces in order to become more whole. All right. Like we said, as all these poisons are being rained down upon us, we got to do what we can to keep our vibration high and to continue to detox our bodies, continue to put healthy things into our bodies. Continue to do whatever rituals, whatever it is that we want to do, whether it's cleanses that we're doing, whether it's, for me, I've been getting back into combo frog medicine. I'm not a doctor. I'm not recommending anything to anyone. I'm saying this is something that I do that is a really beautiful spiritual way to purge and detoxify and cleanse and clear. Do what works for you. Maybe it's juicing. Maybe it's fasting. Maybe it is just eating really whole foods every chance that you can. You know, drinking lots of water, making sure that you are clearing your water. I've been hearing a lot about hydrogen water lately. I'm not sure if anybody knows much about that. That's something I've been delving more into. But I definitely put Celtic sea salt and these powerful sea salts in my water and make sure that I'm imbibing that with my water. But it's like taking care of all the aspects of self, but getting rid of the critical aspect of it, of any of these evolution, any of this growth. It's like releasing the criticism, because Virgo energy can get very critical because it sees its flaws, it sees its possibilities and wants to reach that potential. But it's like, allow yourself some grace. That's what the Pisces energy is saying. Remember, little one, is what Pisces wants to say. You are a small fish in a big sea of consciousness. All right. In this lifetime, you are in this puny little human body. All right. So be gentle with yourself. Take care of yourself. The magnificence of what you are cannot even be conceived of within this tiny, puny brain and body that you have taken on, this vehicle that you have taken on. You can only perceive a tiny fractal of your greatness. This year and this North Node in Pisces energy is here to help you perceive a bit more of that, right? But there's still only so much from this vantage point that we can perceive of our own greatness. Hello, Nuno. Welcome. Hello, Amber. Hello, hello. Yep. Oh. Love my Libra Venuses. I love that. Painting, changing, switching it up, bringing that fresh energy in. That's a beautiful way to celebrate these New Year energies. We also have the Chinese New Year, and I believe that is occurring on the 29th this year. It's the first new moon of the year, and we had that black moon, that second new moon, just before we switched into 2025. So the Chinese New Year will be at the end of the month, and that's going to be the year of the snake, and that has its own energy, that energy of shedding our skin, that energy of regeneration, of change, right? Transformation. The snake is a very powerful being, a very powerful animal, spirit guide. So that in and of itself, with the 9 energy, the snake energy, it's the wood snake, I believe. And this is just going to be, it's going to be a crazy year, you guys. It's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be a ride. And your vibration, once again, is going to dictate what kind of ride it's going to be. Are you able to ride the waves like a pro surfer, having gone through all these waves of ascension that we've gone through so far? Or are you going to, it's like, think about surfing, right? I'm not a surfer. I tried it once. I think I managed to stand up maybe once on my board. This is when I was like 17 years old, maybe. I took a beating that day, right? But I didn't give up. And that in and of itself, Spirit is saying, is a lesson, is a powerful thing to remember, right? I took a beating and I just kept trying. I kept trying to stand up. I did not let the fact that I was struggling prevent me from continuing to try. And Spirit's saying that's like what we need to remember, that we need to keep that energy, keep that focus. No matter how many times 2025 knocks us down, get back up and understand that every time it knocks us down, we get back up stronger. And the reason that is happening is because we are developing mastery this year. 33 people watching, as I said, that 3-3, that is the energy of mastery. That is also the energy of Yeshua. That is the ascended master energy. All right, this is a big year for mastery, not just for my Virgos, but for everybody, all right? So just know that and understand, like we say on here all the time, one of my favorite quotes, the beginner or the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. All right, so where was I going with that surfing analogy? It was something about, like, I never managed to get up on my board. Even I think I did once, like I said, but I tried hard as hell. I'll let you know. I was out there as long as everybody else was out there. I did a lot of paddling on my stomach, trying to get to the waves in time. You know what I mean? But it's like when you're riding a wave, I would imagine you have to surrender into that experience completely. I would imagine, and let me know if there's any surfers on here, any surfers that watch this. When you are riding that wave, you are just letting go. You are becoming one with that wave, with the water. And you're just letting your board synchronize with that wave, and you're letting it carry you. If you're in your head, if you're trying to figure it out, if you're trying to guess where that wave, how that wave is going to unfold, you're going to topple right over and it's going to eat you alive. You just got to ride it by becoming one with the energy of it. And that's what we need to do in 2025. Become the wave. All right, that's just another way of saying become the eye of the storm, right? Become the storm. Become the wave this year. And it can take us some really magical places. And it will for those who are, and remember, and we've been feeling this, we got a preview of this at the end of 2024, right? We've been going through, and we're going to continue to go through as our vibration is rising. These times where we have a lot of that lower vibrational energy that's purging and releasing, the anger, the resentment, the frustration, the overwhelm. Let yourself feel it. Let it move through you. That's what Pisces energy teaches us. Don't hold on to it. Don't hold anything too tight. Let it go. Let it move. Let it flow. All right? And every time we flow through that energy, we're going to come out higher in the next wave, in the next cycle. Hello, Tara. Welcome. Hello, Eclectic Presence or Celeste. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Carl. You with snowboarding. Yeah, snowboarding is very similar energy, right? Yeah. I was just hearing in my head when I was reading the comments. Do you guys remember, for those of you who are around my age, Chumbawamba? What was that song? Bathtub Thumper, I think it was, or Tub Thumper. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down. That's what I was thinking of. That's like the anthem for 2025, I think. That's been the anthem for our lives, I think, so far. We're going to have breakthroughs in 2025, but it's only going to come through getting back up again every time we feel like we're getting knocked down. All right. We're going to read I think we're going to do some cards here. There's so much astrology. Like I said, the next live stream, that's going to be next week, I believe. Depending, what is the date? There's the 22nd. I actually am going to have to do the live stream on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday that week. But I think we have one more week before that. Let me look at the calendar real quick and make sure that we got the date right here. It's coming up. We've got, oh, fuck. Somebody let me know. I believe next we have one more. Here we go. January 2025. Yeah. Today's the 8th, right, you guys? So the 15th, yeah. So next Wednesday at 2 p.m. And then the week after that, we're going to have to do a Thursday because of a prior commitment I had before we started doing these weekly live streams. So we're going to go over the astrology, the overall astrology for the year. I'm going to give you guys the big points of like what were the biggest. I mean, we got pages and pages here, you guys. The biggest points or the highlights. And then if you guys want, we can break down into some smaller specifics. But yeah, this is what we're working with right now. And what we're really beginning to feel into is this conversation with Neptune, with the North Node, with this shifting of gears from Pisces into Aries, but also that continued guidance of that North Node in Pisces. I've never seen a black rose. Actually, wait, maybe I have. My mom's a big fan of black roses. I feel like she's gotten black roses before. They're really beautiful. I like black anything pretty much. That's anyone who's been here for a while, you know that's my favorite color, or lack of color, some might say. Although I believe it's actually all colors, right? Black is the unification of all colors. Or it attracts and draws in color or energy. I know that. That's why they say not to wear black. But I think it's different for everybody. You know, it's all hard and fast. There's no hard and fast rules when it comes to this stuff. So, oh yeah, I had to share this with you guys too, because this was just like a crazy thing that I put together. So what I was looking at when I was getting this, oh, I'm going to actually open up because I had my notes here. When I was putting together the information for this live stream, I thought it was really fascinating that, so we have on April 21st, so this is 2 days after the start of Taurus season, Saturn is going to be conjunct the North Node. So we have Neptune conjunct the North Node. And we're actually going to have, during that conjunction of Neptune and the North Node, we're going to have Saturn very loosely conjunct them at 18 degrees. So we got 28 degrees of Pisces as the conjunction. Right? 27, 28 Pisces. Then we got Venus over here at 2 Aries on one side. And then on the other side, we have Saturn at 18 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn still like weighing in on this conversation in this energy. And then Venus as well, who's going to be going retrograde in the sign of Aries, like we said, in March. So that's like a dynamic energy that we're experiencing there. Right? We have that Aries energy still being called in with that Venus. And we have Saturn, who's been a big part of this final leg of the Pisces energies as well. And Saturn and Neptune are actually going to come into conjunction as well, but they're going to do that in the sign of Aries in 2026. And that's going to be huge. So that's like something that we're leading up to here. And that, of course, is going to begin a brand new cycle of Saturn and Neptune. And I don't have the information for you guys on how long that cycle lasts between them. It's probably, I'm guessing, it's at least 30 years. It's probably longer than that when they come into connection. But this is going to be a big one where they're meeting in Aries. I know it's been a long time since they've met in the sign of Aries. All right. So this is massive. I mean, like we said, it was the 1800s was the last time Neptune was in Aries. Just Neptune alone. All right. So big energy there that we're leading up to in 2026. But when I was looking at this, I was also looking at the fact that Saturn is going to conjunct the North Node. When the North Node reaches 26 degrees of Pisces, and this is going to be with Venus. Venus is going to be at 26 degrees as well. So maybe not at the exact minute and second, but Venus is also going to be at 26 degrees. So we're basically, I'm calling this is a triple conjunction here between Saturn, the North Node, and Venus at 26 degrees of Pisces. So what's interesting about this is they are trining my Mars and Leo. So we have that Mars energy still active here. And they're also going to be 1 degree off of an exact sextile with Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is going to be returning to 26 degrees of Taurus. So Uranus is going to be at 25 degrees of Taurus during the conjunction of the North Node Saturn and Venus. Still, we're going to be feeling that energy as Uranus nears 26 degrees and comes into that exact sextile. And the exact sextile with the North Node is going to be on May 1st. And we're still going to have all these planets within range, Saturn, Venus. They're not going to be in the exactness of their conjunction still, but they're going to be within conjunction range of each other. Just like this sextile, Uranus is within range of this conjunction on April 21st. Because he's only 1 degree off at 25 degrees. The importance on why I'm highlighting Uranus coming to that exact 26 degree Taurus point is because that is the point where we find Algol, the demon star, within the sky at 26 degrees of Taurus. And back in June of 2024, we had an exact conjunction of Uranus and Mars on top of the star Algol. So all at 26 degrees of Taurus. And that was a massive point of energy. And what I was putting together from this, it was really fascinating. All right, when I was looking at this conjunction, was this conjunction happened on, and oh, I hope I don't get this backwards now, which was which. Because I don't think I wrote it down except on this napkin, but I didn't write the exact dates here. This is like my my crazy epiphany scribbles here. So interchangeable. What the conjunction I believe was on the 15th, and I believe it was on the 13th that we had that big first attempted assassination of President Trump. And I'll tell you why this is significant. So Algol is a star that represents Medusa's eye. This is called the demon star. It's also sometimes called the Lilith star. It is the eye of Medusa within Medusa's head, within the Perseus constellation. And Algol is a star that represents extreme malevolence, extreme violence. It literally represents losing one's head, death by beheading, all of this stuff, all right? Now, Mars and Uranus are the two. We have Uranus, the planet of chaos and change, and Mars, the planet of violence and aggression, meeting on top of the demon star. That's why this was a massive, massive conjunction. And within 2 days of that meeting, within this energy, when they were all within range, they weren't exact, but they were within range. All right, probably like this Uranus at 25 degrees, like I'm talking about on the 21st, when we have that meeting with Saturn, the North Node, and Venus, all conjunct. Uranus might have been at that 25-degree point then too, or at that 26, but not quite exact, when we had that attempted assassination. And what happened during that attempted assassination? Trump was shot in the ear, in the head, right? Losing one's head. The intention, if there had not been divine intervention with that shot, was that it be a shot to the head, probably the center of the head, right? But of course, as fate and circumstances would have it, the head turned and it hit the ear. But isn't that interesting? Right around the time of that conjunction of Mars, Uranus, and Algol, the demon star, the star of losing one's head, of violence by beheading, we had that attempted assassination. Yeah. So there are many who have predicted another assassination attempt on Trump. It's not really a wild prediction, right? The deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call it, has been trying to kill him for quite some time now. We all know this. We're all aware of this. There are also lots of individuals who would like to see that happen as well, because the media has done such a great job of painting this picture of this evil person, right? So it's not surprising. It's also all over his natal chart. I almost did a video on it once. He has multiple planets at what we call killing degrees, if you know degree theory. So I was a little worried just from looking at his natal chart. So I definitely think that they are right within another, if there is going to be, and there probably will be, another attempted assassination. I think it's probably, and this will be the third one, right? Because there's already been 2. I think that this may occur, astrologically speaking. It makes a lot of sense that it would occur between the 21st of March and the 1st of May, or somewhere within that time frame. Obviously, we don't give, like, it doesn't need to be exact, right? We said that exact conjunction happened, and it was 2 days before. I think it was 2 days before. It was either 2 days before or 2 days after that the attempted assassination happened, right? So it doesn't have to be right on the day of, but it's around the time when these energies are present. So somewhere between the end of March and the beginning, or the end of April and the beginning of May, would be when I would imagine another attempt occurring. But this one isn't going to go through either. I truly don't believe, because you can believe whatever you want. I know a lot of people get crazy that I bring politics into these videos sometimes, but it's all the astrology, the energy, the ascension. This is what's happening in our world. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of have to talk about world events and what's going on, because it's all related. We don't live in a vacuum, right? This ascension is not happening in a sealed bubble, right? We have to be willing to talk about these things. We have to be willing to look at these things. We have to be willing to look at what's coming up with us when we get triggered by some of these topics and energies, right? That means that we have karma with these things. And trust me, I get it, because I have karma too. Because when I talk about the cabal, when I talk about the deep state, whatever you want to call them and what they're up to, I get heated. I still do. And when I see the deconstruction of their energy, and I see them losing, and not willingly, not happily, that's, we mentioned that in this video, but when I see that energy, it makes me, I do get very joyful. And that is also any type of emotional reaction, right, is a karmic entanglement on some level. You know what I mean? So I'm working on my own stuff with that too. right? We all have it, however it's showing up. But it's like we have to be able to have these conversations, and we have to be able to talk. And yes, like I'm making some bold comments here, right? Saying divine protection. I do truly believe that. And what I was shown when I was writing about this on my little napkin here was that this third attempt is going to fail as well. And when it fails, it's going to spark some type of spiritual awakening in a lot of people, because they're going to be like, wow, how did that not work again? And there's been more than 3. These are the only ones. They're just many that haven't been publicized. You know what I mean? This is like an ongoing, probably like a daily thing at this point. But 3 really, really well known. So it's like, and it's that energy of things happening in 3s, and that the energy of the number 3. Like, especially when we have at the same time that Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces, right? We got that. Like, and Mars, like we said, is trining them. So even Mars, who was involved in that meeting with Uranus on top of Algol, is involved too. There's going to be some sort of epiphany, I think, for some people, some sort of awakening that comes from that. That's just what I was being shown. Take that as it resonates, but I had to throw that in because that was really interesting. And I just thought, because I don't always go with the literal interpretations of these fixed stars, right? They say this one means drowning, this one means death by beheading, this one means that, this one, you know what I mean? Like, I take that with a grain of salt. I look more generally, like metaphorically, and like what is the energy underneath this, right? But I mean, on that specific event, we can look, and it was pretty friggin' literal, right? So, I don't know, man. Astrology's crazy. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Yep. I said something about April and May for the Virgo reading too, Madam Chakra is reminding me. Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, when you start, and hello, Plume, by the way, when you start getting into the astrology and everything, it all makes more and more sense, right? And you start seeing, so it's funny with those correlations, it's like I said that, and now I'm picking up on that within the energies, or I was picking up on that in the energies, now we're seeing it in the astrology. It's just all these different ways that we're seeing this energy, right, playing out. So I think that's, and just so that everyone keeps it within their minds, that 9-10 degree of Aries point is going to be a big point. There's so much that's happening around that point in the sky between the Mercury retrograde on March 15th that starts at 10 degrees of Aries. We have, what's going on? We have 9 degrees. The Venus retrograde starts at 10 degrees of Aries on the 1st of March. Then on the 15th of March, we have Mercury retrograde in Aries starting at 9 degrees of Aries. And then we also have, what do we have here? We got the lunar eclipse in Virgo happening on the 14th. So that's going to be big too. Oh, then we have the new moon solar eclipse in Aries happening on the 29th of February, the day before Neptune enters Aries. So really ushering Neptune into Aries. And that's occurring at 9 degrees of Aries as well. All right. So that 9 degree, 10 degree point of Aries, especially in the beginning. So if you have any planets at really anywhere between like 7 or 8 and like 12, 13 degrees, we'll say 7 and 13 because we were talking about, or that was actually in a reading I just did for TikTok. I think the energies of the 7, the 13, and the 3, interestingly enough. But we like those numbers. So we'll give that kind of an orb roughly, right? Any planets in those cardinal signs, so that would be Aries, this would be Libra, this would be Cancer or Capricorn. You're gonna be feeling a lot of shifts in energy, especially in the beginning part of the year. So let's pull a few cards here to close this out, I think. How does everyone feel about that? Anything else that I wanted to talk about here before we do that? I don't think so. It's just going to be, that's a mass awakening point when we're talking about the end of April and the beginning of May. Even if, say, the assassination attempt doesn't happen, something big is happening. That energy guarantees it. And it's going to be a major point, a catalyst of awakening. And it may come through some type of violence, some type of, I hate to say it, but some type of energy like that. Something that really shakes people up. And just catalyzes that awakening, that big, powerful catalyst. I'm seeing like the Yod card or the Yod energy. There could even be a yacht on that day. I don't know if I looked at if I looked through the astrologies. All right. Yeah. Oh, I love this deck, but I'm being called. We'll use this as a backup. And then I'm going to close with a crystal card too. Maybe Michael will end up hopping on when I do the crystal card. I know he loves the crystal cards. I'm going to move that laptop to the side there. Give it a shout out to our beautiful mods for keeping the chat clean and clear. We love and appreciate you so much. All right, let's dig into this. Let's get some energies as we're moving through, talking about the nodes. North node in Pisces, South node in Virgo. Anything else that we've been talking about today, these beginning few months of 2025, these Pisces, Aries energies that we're going to be working with. Hopefully did that feel like a cohesive, for those of you who've been on for that talk, like did all that make sense as I was going through those energies? I know it was a lot. Sometimes I feel like a mad scientist when I'm just like calling out all the dates and everything. Speak of the angel. There he is. I was just saying I was going to pull a crystal card at the end, Michael. I was saying you're probably going to hop on for that. All right. It did make sense. All right. Perfect. All right. What does Spirit have to say about these energies? We got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords. All right. So there's that divine feminine energy in both her soft and vulnerable and in her fierceness, right? Interesting. So this is beautiful vulnerability, but with boundaries. Okay. Cancer, Libra energy. So there's some more of that cardinal energy, right? Cardinal water, cardinal air. Tell me more about these queens. Why are these beautiful queens here? Got the Queen of Wands. Oh my God. Talk about divine feminine energy coming through here. Strong. So we've got the passionate, courageous, confident, independence, feminine energy. With that beautiful energy of emotional depth. That compassionate feminine energy. And then we've got that that big, bold feminine energy. Right, that feminine energy that doesn't pull any punches, and that's Virgo too. Virgo, Libra, Gemini, Cancer. All right, and we got the Strength card. So this is being strong within our feminine energy. Spirit's saying there's going to be a lot that's shifting and changing within our divine feminine energy during this time. Oh, welcome, my beautiful Aquarius, and welcome, Morel, as well. Tell me more. Tell me more about this. It's that energy of the 3 again coming through, right? We have 3 of the 4 queens here. That 3 energy that we've been talking about. And the 8 energy, definitely feeling Lion's Gate with that particular card. Tell me, what are these beautiful queens? It's what I'm feeling, what's coming through is seeing the strength and the beauty in all expressions and aspects of the divine feminine energy. And go ahead, and if you have a question, Bree, you can throw that in the chat. Seeing the beauty and the strength within all faces of the divine feminine, of the feminine. This is somebody, or this is us as a collective, and this could be more of what the North Node in Pisces energy is bringing through for us, in a sense. Although Pisces energy, it is feminine, but it feels more amorphous to me, more androgynous, honestly. Got the 9 of Swords here. So this definitely is a need for mastery over the mind. We got the 10 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So there's a cycle that's completing here. A cycle of judging our emotions, of judging ourselves. In a way that is unfair. Judging each other, it feels like a little bit too. So just ending cycles of judgment. And it's so interesting because it's different. The different queens have different things to say about this, right? Like the Queen of Swords is saying judgment is not a bad thing. We have to employ judgment in the way of discernment, right? You know, the Queen of Cups is saying, yes, but we don't want to judge others unfairly. We need to give everybody opportunities. We need to ensure that we're not being biased. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right? And the Queen of Wands is kind of, she feels like she's more along with the Queen of Swords. She's like, we judge people every day. Every time we size somebody up, we make an observation, we're judging in a sense. So it's like learning the ins and outs of judgment. When judgment, and the difference between observation and judgment. And this could be playing in with that Virgo energy too, right? When we're talking about releasing self-judgment, self-criticism, perfectionism, and releasing this around others as well. So it's like learning how to employ right judgment. Learning how to experience healing, connection, relationship from a place of strength. It's like, oh, this is interesting. So this is a whole journey with our divine feminine energies going through right now. And it's like having empathy, and this is all about the duality of things, right? Having empathy and compassion without having ourselves being buried in this stress of others, right? So this is like learning how to become an awakened empath, an empowered empath, where we feel, we empathize with others, we have compassion, but we don't let that drag us into this energy where we're just on the roller coaster of their emotions and feelings. Where we can be fierce and sovereign and understand that you can be fierce and sovereign and have boundaries and still be loving. That's the journey that the divine feminine energy has been on. Clear. Hello, Candace. Welcome, beautiful. All right. And you can save that. If I have time at the end, Bri, I'll answer some questions, some personal questions. Kind of feels like you might be right, though, just as I was thinking about that situation for a minute there. Yeah, the divine feminine journey. Finding that beautiful strength, balancing that vulnerability and that fierceness, that compassion and that tough love. And this is also about mastering our own mental state. It's mastering the different aspects. Remember we were talking about the mind, body, and spirit earlier? We can think about this as the emotions with the Queen of Cups, right? The spirit with the Queen of Wands, and the mind with the Queen of Swords. So spirit, emotion, mind. And of course, if we had the Queen of Pentacles, that would be more related to the body. But really with an emphasis on the mastery of the mind, right? With the strength and the Nine of Swords here. It's like those of us who, and this is something that's been coming up recently that I've been hearing people talk about as well. And this is like this energy of how empaths are really coming into their power right now, where it's less about, for a long time, like being an empath is a gift, right? It's a great gift. It's a spiritual superpower. But we didn't know how to use that energy properly. And so it was draining. And being an empath meant taking on everybody's energy. It meant being overwhelmed as soon as you walked in a room. It meant allowing people to walk all over you, not having any boundaries, right? That's not what, there is a beautiful gift within being an empath where you can be sensitive to vibrations and frequencies. You can work with vibration and frequency. You can become an alchemist, alchemizing emotions, alchemizing energies. That's what we're learning how to become as empaths, to step into that empowered energy of the empath, as opposed to the energy that's kind of like a victim of the circumstances and the energies that they're around. And this happens, this ability to become the alchemist as the empath, the alchemical empath, we're going to call it. This occurs when we step into our sovereignty and really assert our own boundaries. So that's really powerful. Clear. Yeah, and then there's a whole new beginning coming here. Yep. And we had the 5 of Pentacles in reverse too. So this is also anywhere where we're recovering from any type of loss, bouncing back, rebounding here. I'm also feeling that energy coming through. But this is also that fear of abandonment, that fear of loss, overcoming that as well. And that's part of what this Pisces energy is here to teach us too, right? It's welcoming us, it's beckoning us. That North Node in Pisces is calling us into the mystery. It's calling us into the unknown, into the void. It's asking us to be willing to surrender. And it's saying, when you surrender, it's sort of like spirit, your higher self saying, when you surrender to me, you will receive far more in return than what you perceive yourself to be giving up. This can be seen when it comes to anything in our physical world. It can also be seen when it comes to the journey of releasing the ego. Right? We have this small little idea of who and what we are, but we cling on it so tightly because it's all we know. And if we would only release our grip on that a little bit, we would come to see and know ourselves as so much more. It's like that with anything. It's like releasing that need to stay small, surrendering that fear of uncertainty. I was listening to something the other day, and it was talking about like, and this was more, sometimes I have like a lot of like more Christian things pop up on my feed recently, which is really fascinating. And so it was somebody, and they were talking about God in terms of very like, strict, not the way we talk about God necessarily, but more strict terms. But it was really interesting because it was an idea that 12-step used to talk about as well, which is like turn over all areas of your life to God. And they were talking about turning over your finances to God. And when you do that, how your finances multiply. Anything you turn over to God, anything, oh, my ear just rang. Anything that you turn over to spirit, we can call this God, we can call this your higher self, source, creator, whatever label or name you want to put upon it. Anything that we turn over to spirit multiplies. What we get in return, what is returned back to us from what we surrender is multiplied. So that's something that this North Node in Pisces wants to teach us. It's like I'm being reminded of the story of Yeshua, right? When he would like multiply the loaves of bread, he'd multiply the fish. I'm thinking of that, particularly the fish with the Pisces energy, right? Multiply the wine or turn the water to wine or whatever. It's kind of like that energy. It's really interesting. So it's like it's like understanding and really coming into that principle of manifesting by giving to receive. Not simply for the desire to receive, but giving and then allowing ourselves to receive. Being more focused on the giving than the receiving. That's a better way to put that. All right. Does that make sense? And this is also a new beginning when it comes to, it's just releasing that fear, releasing that scarcity complex, releasing that abandonment complex, releasing whatever it is that's been holding us back, that's been keeping us small, that's been keeping us spiritually impoverished. This is the energy from moving from spiritual poverty into spiritual abundance. And I actually want to write that down. The alchemical empath, because that was really beautiful. I'm going to write that down. Alchemical empath. All right. Sounds like a great book or a great song or a great video or something, right? All right. Then we got the... Who have we got at the bottom of the deck? Can you guys guess? Queen of Pence. Right there. And then comes the physical, right? When we balance the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, the physical automatically comes into focus as well. And we can start either way, right? We can start with the physical. We can start with any of these aspects, right? You start bringing one into balance and it brings through understandings of how you can take other steps to bring another aspect into balance. And before you know it, they're all balanced out. We're going to pull a couple Intuitive Tarot cards. Then we're going to do a crystal card, and we're going to close it for today. I love you guys so much. Clear. Releasing can be complex, but it's only because we make it so. Everything is actually so incredibly simple. That was like what Spirit began to show me over the past 3 years. We make it complicated, but it doesn't have to be. You know, just like self-love, it can be as simple as choosing it. As deciding I'm going to love myself. I don't need a reason why. I don't need a story as to why I'm worthy. I'm just going to choose to do it. You know, I'm just going to choose to release it. I'm just going to choose to let it go. It's as simple as a choice, but we make it complicated. And trust me, I get it. I get it. All right. 2 cards coming out here. We have 2 of Wands and the 5 of Cups. Spirit's saying this is going to be a big year for people in redefining purpose. What does purpose mean to me? What does passion mean to me? What do I truly want? Remember, we're falling more into alignment with our higher self. As we fall more into alignment with our higher self's will, some of the things that were more aspects of our lower will, our egoic will, start fading away. We don't want them. They don't have the same ring. They don't have the same draw to them that they used to. All right? For some people, it's like things are going to fall out of your life. People, jobs, places, money even. People are going to be going through initiations. I hate to throw stuff out like that. You know what it is? But it's going to be true. Initiations where things are stripped away in order to get you to a point of surrender. Or in order for the spiritual catharsis to happen that needs to happen. And we're going to see this collectively as well. Right? Many are predicting a collapse of the financial system. Right? I do believe, as many do, that we're going to be moving into a more digitalized type of currency. So some people might want to check out that. Look into that. Transfer of wealth may be coming in that way, many believe. But yeah, financial systems may be collapsing. Things may be happening. Whatever is not sustainable is going to be collapsing, both in a collective level and an individual level. Okay? So it's like, don't resist it. Let it go. If it's collapsing, know it's collapsing for a reason. If people are going through hard times, if people are going through periods of lack, just know and understand that is it's pushing us to that point of surrender. That point where you get down on your knees and you say, okay, I give up. And you surrender your will and your life to your higher self. This is pushing people, what we would call the muggles, right? To a point of having to look inside, having to look towards spirituality. There's going to be crazy events going on in the next year or two that are really going to push everyone to that point of awareness, of awakeness, of needing to go within for whatever crisis is presenting itself. But the more we can just automatically start going within, start looking at noticing what's not resonating, what's not fitting, releasing it, letting it go. Like we said, being the surfer, becoming the wave. The more we can do that, the less painful it's going to be. If we need to reassess, if we need to make adjustments, just making them as we go along. Oh, this isn't working. Oh, this isn't resonating. Let me try something new. Right? Oh, that's not serving me. Let's let that go. Oh, that's another belief system that no longer resonates. Let's begin shifting that. You know what I mean? That's going to make it so much easier. All right, but some things Spirit's saying are crashing and burning so that what's truly meant for you can rise from the ashes of what it is that needs to be left behind. Then we have the winter solstice here. So, and we are within that energy right now, right? We just had the winter solstice, the 12/21. But this time is all about finding that light within. And that's what this year of 2025 is all about. And this North Node of Pisces, which, as we said, goes until the Galactic New Year, 8/26/2026. It's all about finding and reconnecting to that light within. Allowing that light to be our guide. All of the outer, the flim-flam, as somebody, I think that was somebody in a 12-step that used to talk about the flim-flam. All of that getting stripped away. so that we come down to the core of what's important, so we remember what's truly important, which is us and our relationship with spirit. Clear. And allowing that to be the guiding force in all of our lives as we move forward. Yep. Knight of Swords, Carpe Diem. Hanged Man, new perspectives, epiphanies, surrender, awakening, release. And the Moon, mental clarity. So there's a huge energy of truth being unveiled, perspective shifting and changing, really embracing, surrendering, releasing, clear, embracing the clarity that's coming through instead of trying to fight it, trying to hold on to the old narrative. Just let it all go. Clear. That's what Spirit's saying. That's what the North Node in Pisces is saying. Let it all go and let it all flow. It is not the change that is painful. It's our resistance to it. All right. We're going to pull a couple crystal cards. I say a couple because we usually have a couple come out. This is the energy. This is what we are being molded into. Aries energy, the Emperor. Clear, cool, confident. I mean, I get Capricorn energy always from the Emperor as well. But this is the leader. This is clear. That energy that knows who it is, that knows where it's going. And of course, we know the compass guiding us is our spirit, our heart. All right. Crystal card. Clear. What crystals want to support us as we're moving through the beginning here of 2025? And of course, during this nodal transit as well. And welcome, Johan from Pakistan. Or no, Omar from Pakistan. And welcome, Taps from Botswana. I love seeing everyone from all these different places coming together. Emperor in the house. That's right, Dee. What crystals want to be of assistance to us at this time to assist us in integrating these higher self energies and all that we talked about today? We have black coral coming out, the light and the darkness. Ooh. And we had very clear card coming out here with this the way this popped out. So we're going to read most of this. And then there is sunstone on the bottom of the deck, and that is the raw light radiance. Black coral. The master crystal deva of black coral is Deva Kamael. And Kamael says, sink into my peace. I will carry you through the blackness. With me, you will see darkness as a shade of light. The very shade that gives rise to you as a physical body and imparts the gifts that you possess in your many perceived worlds. I can allow you to become all-knowing and confident in the part of you that is God. I bring trust to its presence and perfection as light for the good of all. You will come to see self-preservation as a step into trust rather than a need for protection, which simply fuels the fire of fear on our planet. Join the past masters I have embraced and received the pure knowing of divinity in self. Let us light the fire of self-trust and confidently empower you across the vibrant, ever-changing sands of life. Now embrace, ride with me in the waves. So funny, the waves, right? Ride with me the waves of divinity that flow beneath the surface of all creation. Infinitely into the three hearts of fire. The solar angel recognized. Isn't that funny? The three energy and the wave energy coming through. And with all that solar fire talk, I think we're going to read sunstone as well here. But let's see what else we need to know about black coral and take in the light language on that card as I read about it. Lifts trust and confidence in the power of self. Enters the darkest places of self and shines a bright light there, making all that is found known. And then encourages the replacement of those newly surfaced fears with love via self-forgiveness. How perfect is this? This gives black coral its powerful ability to dispel fear of darkness from the most spiritual to physical parts of self, allowing one to be filled with light and to tread a truly fearless path. Perfect when we're talking about that energy of the North Node in Pisces, overcoming fears, right? Surrendering our fears. And hello, Wild. It's great to see you. Let's see here. Coming of age stone. Accelerates the transfer of knowledge into wisdom. When a boy or girl becomes a man or woman. Let's see. It's great to assist with integrating ancient spiritual materials because it facilitates communication with past spiritual masters. Yeshua, goddess Isis, the god Anubis, and Lord Maitreya are all connected to this stone. It helps to strengthen all of the meridians and empower the energy system to seek a balance while allowing an understanding of the fears that created the problem. So really helpful, those meridians. When we go through all of the solar flares, all the crazy energies that we're experiencing on this planet right now, our meridian system is quite literally like zinging. And I had to, when I was getting my Reiki attunements, my meridians went haywire. And I had so many physical symptoms coming up. And I went to see an acupuncturist because acupuncture works directly with the meridians in the body. And he helped me so much. So this could be like literally, if you can't get out and get yourself some acupuncture, get yourself some black coral, all right? And allow that to help soothe your meridians. All right, what else here? It has affinity for the bones and aids in rebuilding and natural formation of bones as well. And the message for black coral, it is a stone of hope. In coming to you today, she reminds us that no matter how dark we perceive the world to be, there is always light hidden within it. Everything in the universe is light or love, or we say light, love, light, right? Until it is tainted by the perception of man. Black coral lets you know that the new world of light starts with you. Your perception simply has to move to see fear as a lack of understanding, rather than a substance like a brick wall in growth. For whatever reason in life, often we disempower ourselves. This lack of faith in self is the first step away from love and often leads to a dark place. Choose carefully in the coming days. See the light in the darkness and you will be free. A fear of the dark is a love of the light. Make a choice to understand, and fear is an illusion we can live life without. All right? A fear of the dark is a love of the light. Make a choice to understand, and fear is an illusion we can live life without. All right? See the light in the darkness and you will be free. That's powerful. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. There is no need to fear. Be willing to tread the dark places within, to love the dark places within. The affirmation for black coral is, in love, I am free. All right, that's powerful. It's very powerful, placed on the third eye, the heart, the solar plexus, and the root chakra, as well as the right hip area. And the healing hidden fears trinity for anyone who's curious. Black coral on the left shoulder, green calcite on the heart chakra, and rhodochrosite on the right shoulder. You may call forth a single ascended master, angel, or deva to assist in this healing as you place the crystals on these places. And you can also place clear quartz on those points as well and ask it to stand in for any of those crystals if you don't have those specific crystals. And if you have this deck, you can use the cards in this deck as well. All right, we're going to look at sunstone here as well. Since we had so much about that fire, the light, the fire of the soul, I think that sunstone's going to be helpful here to see what this has to say. If we can get to it. Anybody else always forget their alphabet when they're trying to do stuff, sort through stuff like this? Ooh, foot reflexology. Oh, I love that, Amber. Thank you for that. I might try that out. We got it. Any ways that we can move energy, you guys. Exercising, dancing, moving the body, yoga, Pilates, foot reflexology, right? Slapping, tapping, you know what I mean? Wiggling, jiggling. We got to move this energy, okay? All right, the sunstone, Ra, the light radiant. The master crystal Devra is Ra Bael. All right. Praise be to Ra. I am your personal source of radiant light. Feel my warm vitality. I carry the spark of life through the corridors of emptiness, pain, and illusion. Life and joy are evidence of my footsteps. Lie back to the blazing sun. Let its light bathe you in its optimistic and confident fires. Breathe them into the body and choose life for every cell. Now send them forward and embrace your greatest goals with ease. These are some of my gifts. Lifted, your radiant solar light is a star to behold. Your vitality is at its peak. With me, it is summer year-round. There is only the radiance of my loving light. Express it with joy and smile. We are one. Hold now the sacred fire, the sacred eye of Horus. Know its path, and together we will offer it back the aid, or we will offer it back to aid the Davic rise of wisdom into humanity's embrace. And I wanted to say humanity's golden age here. Let's see. This stone contains the glory of the radiant sun, gold, red, orange, and yellow. All right. Let's see. The colors inside sunstone are never dormant. They're always changing and shifting based on the viewing angle and the amount of light and type of light present. It's a sacred stone of Ra, which is a powerful collective that we are all connected to. The sun god of Egypt as well is Ra, and a representation of vital life force energies. Assists with optimism, vitality, confidence, beaming from a clear, energized state, allowing the setting of high goals with fearless enthusiasm and trusting in your abilities to reach them. Life is good. The sun lives in you. You are life, and you are truly alive. Let's see. So this is great to accompany this. When I read the next part, you're going to see why these are so powerful together. Often those that are in need of sunstone have entered a dark place in life, often believing that an unshakable shadow has been cast upon them, forcing them into an unavoidable depression, fueled with moods, lowered self-worth, and pessimism. Life becomes mundane and the cycle never seems to end. Sunstone's vitality is their savior. The vitality of sunstone clears, heals, and balances the bodies, removing fears and feelings of failure by intimately linking the soul's consciousness into the equation. This potent inclusion opens up universal truth and may just make one the sun that gives light to the rest of the world. As umbram fugat veritas. Truth puts darkness to flight. That is a quote by Algernon Blackwood. Umbram fugat veritas. Truth puts darkness to flight. Sunstone is a solar stone of worship used in conjunction with sun meditations and in work related to the Mayan and Egyptian cultures. It is the sacred stone of the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, or Akhenaten. You know who I'm saying here. Akhenaten. The Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, who will still answer its frequency. It is a record keeper of all that Akhenaten came to do on earth. His message and his work can still be found encoded within it. It opens up communication to the Ascended Master Serapis Bey as well. Heals throat issues, stomach issues, and cools fire-based conditions such as rheumatism. If sunstone has come to you today, the light of the sun is about to ignite your life, increasing your vital force, expanding your frequency, and infusing you with the joy that only the sun can deliver. The coming days are bound to be positive and flowing, but it is important to not block the potential this frequency carries with negativity and pessimism. For sunstone will then explode into healing mode and you will wonder what hit you. Optimism is a key word where sunstone is concerned, and it is possible that you are having your fair share of rough days at the moment. Sunstone has come to fill a role as your personal sun, showering positive light into your world and lightening the load. Sunstone can also open the voice and purpose of one's soul, so listen in a state of positive potential action. For with frequencies such as this, swiftness is the key. If you are searching for an answer to a question, sunstone is one of the most powerful and positive of responses that you could hope for. It screams yes, yes, yes at you. All you need to do now with your new vitality is spring into action. Are you still reading this? Go and do it now. And the affirmation is, I am radiant light. Behold my vitality. So this is powerful. It works best with the solar plexus, the throat, and the soul star chakras, where it can lighten the load and remove fear and add vitality. Let's see. And the messages from the Ancients Trinity is sunstone on the soul star chakra, up above the head, selenite on the heart chakra, and moonstone below the feet at the earth star. You will see a door with a triangle on it. Step through it into a pyramid where you will be greeted and information will be exchanged. All right. Okay, I love you all so much. I hope you enjoyed those readings. You have the invitation to work with those crystals, whether through harmonizing them into clear quartz or with those crystals themselves. They feel really powerful, especially for those where we're in winter in the Northern Hemisphere right now, that sunstone to really reignite that solar fire. And that black coral clear, working together to clear those negativities, to clear those fears, to help us step into our empowerment, into our radiance, and to embrace our divine purpose and divine mission, which is what clear 2025 is all about, baby. All right. Thank you so much for being here. You are all beautiful. You're all so amazing. And I look forward to live streaming with you again next Wednesday at 2 p.m. All right. We'll talk soon. And we'll go over in that live stream the major astrology of 2025. So that'll be a fun one right there. All right. Yes, yes. Great energetic break with everyone. Great way to connect, merge our energies together, be in this space together, activating each other, uplifting each other. Anyone who wants to join the membership, you can go ahead and do that as well. I did start the membership for this channel. We also have our Patreon where we do bi-weekly live calls on a Zoom completely off of any type of social media. And of course, one-on-one sessions as well. If you guys want to book any of those, all the information's in the description box. Can I do a question reading soon? Yes. And Bree, follow me on TikTok because I'm getting ready to start doing those on TikTok. People really like those on TikTok where they can ask questions for a donation. But I'll pull you one card for right now. I'm going to pull you a card from this deck, Bree. Clear. Let's get a card for Bree here. And I know you were asking about the officer that you thought was flirting with you, but I'm just going to get we're going to get a general card. I feel like there's something from this deck that wants to come out for you as we're closing here, Bree. And my TikTok, for anyone who doesn't know, is you can look it up under DSOM, Tarot and Astrology, or you can look it up under CosmicKassia with a K. What card wants to come out for Bree here? Okay. We have the Two of Cups. That's about partnership, soulmate connection. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we have the Magician. So I feel like there's something wanting to manifest for you when it comes to love, when it comes to partnership and connection, but you're holding on too tightly from something from your past and you need to release that in order to let it go. And if it's not something or someone from your past that you're holding on to too tightly, Spirit's saying let go of the need for it to be a specific person or for this person to be a specific way to allow for the magic of the universe to work. Set the greater intentions of I want somebody that helps me to feel like this, who sees me this way, as opposed to the specifics. Let go of any specific person. Definitely cut ties if you have cords to somebody from your past romantically. And know that you can create and manifest everything that you seek, but it's just there's an energy of letting go. There's something that needs to be let go and released. It could be expectations of I don't know what particularly with expectations, whether this is expectations of perfection. Remember, nobody's perfect, but you can find somebody who is perfect for you. And whoever is perfect for you is going to be somebody who helps you work through whatever it is that your soul's wanting to learn next and helps you to elevate your vibration, your frequency, and to crack open your heart in the way that your heart needs to be cracked open the most. Remember, our task is not to seek for love, but to seek within ourselves the barriers that we have built against it. That's Rumi right there. All right, so don't hold on too tight to anything or anyone, any specific idea. Open yourself up to the love that you want to experience. Be that love that you want to experience first. Clear. And I feel like Spirit's showing you little echoes of possibilities of the kind of love that you can attract into your reality, Bree, if you so choose. You got the Page of Cups. That's that Cupid energy. So there's definitely love coming in for you. If you're able to let go and release whatever is holding you back from being ready to embrace that, particularly if it's an ex, you got to let them go. You got to let them go. All right. And there's a brand new beginning. There is love coming in for you, baby. Be open to it. Be open to it. Be open-minded to how it's going to manifest, who it might be with, even if they're not your usual type, right? Like we said, have a frequency type as opposed to a physical, like, I like a dark-haired guy. I like a guy that does this for a living, or a woman that does this. You know what I mean? Like, release that kind of stuff, blue eyes, whatever. Get on the frequency, on the vibration there. All right? Clear. Yeah. Yeah. And be willing. Maybe the police officer is not your typical type, but maybe that's experimenting. Spirit's saying, if you open yourself up and you experiment with people that aren't your usual types, you're going to actually find more connection. You're going to find more connection than if you're always going for a certain type of person. Maybe that's what you need to let go. Maybe it's not a specific person from your past, but it's a type that you usually date, or a type that you usually want or go after. I know I used to have an emotional type. I didn't necessarily always have a physical type, but I had an emotional type. It was the emotionally unavailable womanizer type of energy. I had to let that go, right? And that was a whole process. And I had to recognize where that existed within me too, because if I wasn't dating somebody or trying to date somebody who had that energy, then I was that energy in the relationship, right? So it was like when I didn't have somebody else playing it out where I could point at them and be like, look at him. Why is he being like that? He's so afraid of love. He's so, you know what I mean? Like, he can't open up emotionally. It was like every time I was pointing, there were 3 fingers pointing back at me. And when I would end up with somebody who could open up or who did want commitment, I would be like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a mirroring. It's always a reflection. So be willing to look at that as well. But be willing to let go of that type. So see what within you, where does that type exist within you? That type that never works out for you. Where can you heal that energy and let go of that energy within you and open yourself up to something new? And that's a great message for all of us, I think, as well. My ears are ringing like crazy right now. It's so funny. He might be. And it might be there's just a slight little tweak in energy that needs to happen. When you let go of whatever that is, that type, that energy, I think your energy is going to open up and it's going to be easier and easier for him to approach you. Yeah. Try to stay away from the police. That's how I always was too, Gyanji. It took a really long time in my life to realize that, like, I don't break the law, generally speaking, anymore, right? So I don't really have anything to fear from the police, but for a long time it was just a gut check reaction, you know, because I was doing a lot of things that got me in, or would have gotten me into a lot of trouble for a long time. So yeah. Laughter is healing. The more we can laugh, the better. All right. I love you all so much. I appreciate you. My half sister dated a police officer for a really long time, and this was back when I was doing stuff that like would got me in a lot of trouble too. But he was still awesome. I loved him very much. There are good police out there. There are good everybody out there, right? Just like there are corrupt everybody out there. You know, there are the good, the bad, the ugly. It exists in every variation through every walk of life. You know, so we never write anybody off just because they don't fit the mold of what we, you know, you guys know what I'm trying to say. My brain's starting to fizzle out here, you know, but it's like we see the beauty in everyone. We still practice discernment, right? We don't expect that everyone's going to be kind and loving and gentle because there's all kinds of energies in the world, right? We keep up our boundaries, our guard to a certain extent. We use our discernment, but still we don't generalize anybody or put any entire population into a box or a label, right? Like you are this, so you are this. You are that, so you are that. You know, and we keep ourselves open to continuing to meet new types of people, new walks of life, and have new experiences, right? All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a streak. It was about a 10-year streak or so, but yeah. And then it took like another 10 years to stop being afraid of to stop getting that sinking feeling every time I saw a police officer. Like, oh my God, I'm going to jail, even when I wasn't doing anything wrong anymore. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. I have other clear things calling to me today. As I said, I'm going to keep getting those zodiacs out. Sneak peek, we'll be putting them out. Hopefully, I definitely should have them all done by the beginning of January, so everyone's sign has a sort of a barometer moving forward for what to be expecting as we move into 2025 more deeply. And we'll be talking about the upcoming full moon, of course. I'll have a video for that out as well. So just keep looking out for new content. If you don't see notifications, sometimes I have been playing around with my notifications and my settings a little bit. So if you don't see a notification, just check back in every couple days to see if there's a new video out. Like I said, we'll live stream again next week. Love you so much. Yes, Cancer's coming. Cancer's coming. I had to do, I was doing some of the zodiacs before I started the end of year readings. And then there are some that never even got just a regular zodiac reading. So I'm trying to do those as well as the people with big transits going on. But of Cancer and Capricorn, we'll get their 2023 sneak peeks as well, of course. I think I'm going to be doing Aquarius and Leo next. I think are the next ones up. And then probably Taurus and Scorpio. I do it by the axes, if you guys haven't noticed. It's a great way to remember what I've done. And then we got Gemini that's still got to get another one, Cancer and Capricorn. I think that'll wrap everything up. But don't worry, if it doesn't, I will not miss any of your signs. And if I do, let me know. All right. Love you so much, you guys. Sending you my thank you, Amber. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah, exactly. Someone said Leo rising, Aquarius moon. Check out your sun, Venus, moon, rising. Any of those things, there could be messages in you with any of those as well. So you don't have to wait just for your sun sign. All right. Talk to you guys soon.